count them down. That's how we had to do it.
Well, Summer, you are definitely a gift to the world. And it was so nice to have met you. You're hungry?
We're gonna get food.
Hey.
Don't you worry.
McDonald's.
You know, McDonald's, there you go.
Gosh.
And, you know, thanks for watching this segment of Open House here with Summer's Army. Summer, Tiffany, and Kathy. And thanks so much for what you and your family is doing for the community. And I just want to speak this over your efforts. You know, when we were growing up, there was always carnivals. And we said this is somewhat like a carnival. Wouldn't it be nice if this was the largest carnival this area would ever have? And just think of the young people that you would be helping and their families. So please take note, put it on your calendar, August the 23rd at Gitz Memorial Mansion. The biggest carnival. Help make this the biggest carnival in the area. Biggest gathering, biggest community. Play for the kids. Playing is like praying, and
Awesome.
Come play for those who can't.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll see you there. And look, let's make it large. Donate money, time, items, opportunities. So you could always get a hold of Summer at the Summer's Army at summersarmyevents@gmail.com. Thanks for watching this segment. Thanks for this family, this awesome family that makes this county, this area, this community the best.
Thank you for helping get it out there and
Yeah,
helping
thanks.
the community.
I hope this baby grows
do
really.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
So until we get a chance to bring someone else in here that's doing awesome stuff like this group, stay healthy and remember, you are precious.
I do this because I'm an adrenaline junkie.
It's exciting and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm giving back.
There are a lot of people out in the community who have skills that could benefit this department.
We're looking for dedicated younger individuals that want to come in to do fundraising. They can be an interior firefighter, exterior firefighter.
I said, I'll give it a shot, and turns out it was the best decision of my life.
There's no better job in the world. You're going to love what you do. United Hook and Ladder, lead the way. Come join us today.
At 3:30 p.m. and the ride kicks off at 5 p.m. If you're already there for Bike Week, why not join in and ride in memory of Jeremy Plank? Now heading over to Hanover, it's time for the 5th annual Snacktown Street Fair. That's happening Saturday, July 12th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. right in downtown Hanover.
Came from. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
A little bump there. Yeah. Hey.
Hey, we're just talking about the ET ejection tracker. All you at home are probably wondering what the magic number is. We'll get to that. It is July 8th, week number 891 of the program. Corey Smith, I'm Jeff Cook. This is Sports Chat, 717-334-3000. Give us a call if you would like to talk about anything in the wide world of sports. Where do we begin?
Well, we can start with the Shining Star and, work with the Hot
Okay.
Seat and the ET
All
then.
right.
So
You want to lead off?
I'll take the leadoff spot for this
Any
there.
low-hanging fruit on this one, or you?
There's a couple
little
couple
deeper.
out there, but I'm going to go with the Seattle Mariners. Over the weekend, they were playing the Pirates, and the Pirates are not a good team. They fired their manager, but
Again?
well, I was just saying,
during the
they're
course
one
of the
of several
season.
teams
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there that have
Okay.
fired their manager. But over the holiday weekend, Seattle held off the Pirates. In all three games, the Pirates scored 0 runs,
Wow.
and Seattle had 36 strikeouts. Now, since 2000, this has been done 33 times, but only once in those 24 seasons where a team went 4 consecutive games, and that was the 2012 Giants. So, in that year, they won the World Series. So, see what happens tonight with
4
us.
shutouts in a row?
But Seattle's playing New York tonight, so that is going to be
Well, I mean, the Mariners are such a hot and cold team.
right now. They're
They
hot.
never won it all,
Nope.
so they have that against them. They can't do it kind of spirit. But, I mean, they've gone on runs before. One year they had what might still be the best single-season win total.
2001 season, yeah.
That was like 116 wins or something like that. And then they got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. So, I mean, show me something lately. Sustain it. I mean, they have great pitching, right?
Yeah.
And
As you see by the weekend of not giving up any runs there, but yeah.
Cal Raleigh, he can carry the offense all by himself, apparently. I mean, but, because they're in Seattle, you don't get to see him very much.
In that Pacific West there. So, I mean, right now, they're 6.5 games back from the Astros, and they're creeping up there to the first wild card spot there in the American League there. So just playing some good baseball. They're 7-3 in their last
So
10
is Houston playing some good baseball. But, I mean, they had a terrible start, and I think the Mariners were good, then bad, now they're good again. So the key is don't finish bad.
Yes, that's what I would agree with that there.
Okay, so hot seat. I got a couple teams.
Well, you're a shining star, though.
Okay, yeah, I'm keeping an all-star theme. I'm going Zach Wheeler. He was a pitcher of the month in June. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. I wrote this week for my piece in the Gettysburg Times. It'll be in Saturday's Times about the All-Star Game and how cool it is that it's the same game. We talked about this many times before. Basketball with a no D, football with a no D, and then the conversion to flag football, and hockey, 3-on-3? Is that without a goalie? 3-on-3?
They got the goalie there, but it's just very not
Yeah,
hockey.
yeah. So, I mean, and what I said was, okay, let's see Aaron Judge against Skeens. Let's see Shohei Ohtani against Tarek Skubal. And, I mean, I don't usually necessarily, I'm not on every pitch in the All-Star Game, but I try to watch part of it. But now that I wrote about it, I feel compelled to
I think you have to watch it.
see if these dramatic moments unfold. But yeah. So and then home run derby. Are there only 4 people in it?
Right now, there's 5 that's confirmed.
Well, I mean, haven't they had usually at least 8, or they're kind of like a first round head to head?
I know last year looking at the notes, we had all 8. I think they got that signed on Monday of who's going in. Usually you have 4 in the American League, 4 in the National League there. So looking at my notes
They have
here,
5 total.
they have 5 total at the moment. I think that'll change by probably when we're done with the show maybe. But right now there's 3 on the National League and then 2 in the American League. Typically you want an all-star.
All right, give me the names.
You have Byron Buxton.
Okay.
Cal
Twin.
Raleigh.
All right. So we know Cal Raleigh. He's banging them from both sides. And we
Over.
talked about this. Will he have a right-handed pitcher and a left-handed pitcher.
Or does he switch it up and go
Or,
left and right?
right, I mean, they're not throwing them, these guys are not throwing breaking balls, trying to fool these guys, they're trying to give them,
Meatballs.
exactly,
Meatball, yeah.
exactly, so, I mean, but that is so important, is to have your pitcher be able to consistently put him right in your sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot comes into play, so that's why you might not, and I talked about the switch hitters, what, Rutschman, wasn't he in home run
Yep, he-
derby?
yeah, he
And I think
switched
he
it
hit
up
from
there,
both
yep.
sides, and he homered from both sides, but is that less wear and tear on your muscles than
You could
going
say that, yeah.
all at bats from the same side? I don't know, we'll see what happens with Cal Raleigh. And so, all right, so Cal Raleigh, you said, you gave me another name.
Yeah, I'm just making sure
And
that
Schwarber
there's
said not this year, maybe next year, because it's going to be in Philadelphia.
Usually you have a representative in that city, for the Derby itself there. So in the, the American League, it's Baron Buxton and Cal Raleigh.
That's right.
Nationally, you got James Wood.
Rookie or he's second-year player out of,
Second year.
he's got all kinds of power, and he's a five-tool guy, kind of guy. Came over in the Soto trade, along with Abrams.
Yep.
So, I mean, hey, the Nationals knew what they were doing.
Well-
But, so, again, with a player like that, we talked about this before, too. You don't want him to get homeritis and mess up his sweet stroke. But go ahead, give me
The other two is O'Neill Cruz with the
now he's in
Pirates.
center field. Is he better off there than shortstop?
There's a
Seems like it.
Yeah, it seems like he's transitioning well. And the other one's the hometown star, Acuna, Ronald Acuna Jr. So there's the five. We'll get the three others. I mean, who would you like to see kind of fill in that that spot?
I mean, how about Aaron Judge or Otani or, Schwarber or somebody that really has a chance to hit a lot of bombs. That's what we pay to see. You love great pitching, but when people are hitting balls out of the yard, that's exciting. But yeah, Aaron Judge, I don't know, has he ever been in home run derby?
I think it's almost like the LeBron James. I think he's not going to do it just because he is more focused on winning a championship
And he
instead
doesn't
of
want to mess up
winning a
his
derby.
stroke, his karma, whatever you want to call it. Hey, so here's a sports note. Danny Dietrich won a 20-grand race, I read in the paper. So he's Gettysburg's own. So he made some headlines this week. Congrats. All right, so,
I'll let you start out with the hot seat.
all right. Well, Guardians, talk about streaky.
Yeah.
They're expected to contend, and now I think the Tigers' lead is something like 12, 13, 14
Well, yeah, I can give you
games.
the exact number.
14?
14.
14 games.
14. They have basically, 2 weeks or, how many
Yeah, it would
games
be
you
a
can-
legendary
Yeah. Collapse.
failure for them to not win, at a minimum, that division. And then but the A's, what happened to them?
Well, yeah, I put the kibosh on them, about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. They're 37-55.
Yeah.
Flirting with having the worst record in the American League there. The White Sox are 30-61. Both are playing some bad baseball right now, but the A's run differential is -140. So,
I mean, the White Sox, they're getting better, though, aren't they? Didn't they they played somebody tough, the Dodgers or somebody?
scrappy.
Yeah, Luis Roberts, he would have a lot of value if they would let him go.
I think there is rumor on the mill out there that he could be dealt there, or they're just trying to unload there.
I guess everybody in the know knows about him, but I mean, the general public might not, because the White Sox don't get a lot of TV play. But isn't he a legit five-tool guy?
Yeah, he's coming back from an injury.
Center fielder.
From a hamstring there.
Run
So
power, speed. Yeah, so
or maybe a rental or something. That could work. And this is kind of like, hey, show me what you got. Type
is he
of
right-handed hitter?
right-handed power there.
Yeah.
So I'm right.
The Phillies getting Luis Robert for center field. I always thought they would go after Trout because he's from South Jersey. He's a Eagles fan, big time, and
He's got 14
maybe-
homers right now.
yeah,
so.
it still could happen. It still could happen. But yeah, the Phillies haven't really made any big deals. They got Luzardo, who talk about an up and down season. Two games where he gave up 20 runs, and then he had a couple of good starts, and now so-so. So his ERA's
yeah.
over 4. Yeah, consistency. There's something to be said for that. People that you can really rely on. There's number one, so Zach Wheeler. He's just been tremendous for the Phillies, and then they have Suarez and Sanchez, and really good with the changeup, the off-speed stuff, both lefties. So if they get Aaron Nola back and he can regain his form, that's a pretty darn
Pretty
good
dangerous
starting.
there, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all about health too. Look at the Braves, what Schwellenbach went down, and Strider had to come back. He missed half the season.
And he's not the same what he was in
No.
previous seasons there. You know, the roster for the Braves are just decimated with injuries.
How did Matt
because-
Olson make the All-Star team?
Well, you know, they got Acuna that won the vote there, but Olson.
Yeah, well, he had to be there.
You know, I was kind of a little surprised with the Matt Olson there because you could have went with Michael Busch, with the Cubs. You could have went with a different options, but to go with Matt Olson, I think that was probably maybe a hometown. Him playing for the Braves might have swung it.
That might,
maybe.
I guess that's it. Yeah, he probably feels a little sheep. I mean, there have been years when he's been, no doubt about it, All-Star, but it's been 2 years. He had a down year last year. and
I mean, his numbers aren't hateful.
Not as bad as
but
last
it's
year, but not like 2
last
years
year,
ago
yeah.
when he hit 51 homers or something like that. So, well,
So I'm going to stick with your hot seat there with the Guardians, and I'm going to, go with the Guardians picture, Luis Ortiz. He's been placed on non-disciplinary paid leave after 2 pitches were flagged, one on June 15th and the other on June 27th.
like spitballs or
Well, it was the first pitch of the second and the third inning, and his pitch was way outside the strike zone. And what they're flagged for was, because people can bet on
gambling. Okay,
every
yeah.
single pitch,
I was
and with
starting to
his
write it
pitch
down.
being so way offside, the batter's not even going to swing. So they placed him on leave. He's not suspended right now, but it's a 2 weeks. So once the All-Star break ends, that's when the leave will end, or if they want to extend that leave there. So
People, they would bet money on whether the next pitch is a ball or a
yeah,
strike.
they call it the micro betting, or just very micro managed of the betting there. But yeah, you can go strike, ball, every little pitch there. So
he has a little walkie-talkie device in his ear telling him,
or he can just tell his buddy, like, hey, this is allegedly that
I'm going to airmail this one. I guarantee this will not be a strike.
this will be a ball and all that there. So, a couple of the betting, kind of, in certain states, flagged
The
it.
guy swung at it and missed.
Yeah, but it was so absurd that it was.
That would mess it up.
So that was my hot seat when I saw
That's
that there.
well-deserved.
And when you're putting, the Guardians with their 10-game losing streak, they won last night,
Yeah.
against the Astros there. But yeah, they really
They
were
need
2
to get
games
hot.
over
I mean,
500.
again, they're hot and cold. The Mets, hot and cold. Yankees,
Really hot and cold right now, and
Red Sox, hot and cold. I mean, consistent teams. Right now, Houston and the Tigers all year, I guess you'd have to say, and the Dodgers. They're an elite organization.
yeah, right now the Tigers are playing 6:30 baseball. They're 58-34. Their run differential is 110, and everybody else in that division is in the red. So it
Yeah.
just shows you that there. They have the best record in baseball. The Dodgers are 56-36, and they're 609. Cubs are playing 600 baseball at 54-36 there. So, but
Wow.
we're
The Cubs, I mean, everybody, well, last year, they started to look like a playoff team, and then they faded at the end. So maybe this is a different Cubs team this year. They
I
got
think if-
Tucker, they got,
they get a couple pieces. I mean,
pitchers.
that's with every team out there. They think they're a couple
Yeah.
pieces away there,
Yeah.
but they're going
Who
to.
can make the biggest splash? You got to have people in your farm system you're willing to part with. Philly's got some pitching depth down there. Andrew Painter, they might get him back finally. He's been hurt. So I mean, you hate to see them give up somebody like that, who could turn out to be a Ferguson Jenkins Hall of Famer. So I don't know. Interesting. So what do we, NBA, we had the draft, lot of few trades. No real big news though lately.
Well, speaking of that trade, they officially said the Kevin Durant or the Houston Rockets and
Yeah.
the Sun trade is officially done, and that the trade was
How many teams?
7 teams. 7 teams were involved, 13
the-
players, and there's draft picks that were involved that were part of the 2032 draft. I mean, you got players, 2032, so
Yeah.
that'll be, so they're like, you could be, middle school right now, part of this,
Yeah.
this trade. It's just crazy. So, see what happens with that there.
They have the Las Vegas Summer League going on now. What are the biggest names in that? I mean, Bronny James.
Yeah, I haven't watched too much of the summer league
I
there,
haven't
but I
either.
assume,
I
Bronny
saw the
James is
Thunder
there.
team was pretty good. They were talking about how they play good defense, just like the real Thunder. So it's pretty important. I guess Miles Turner to the Bucks, and then they cut Damian Lillard. So that was the big news maybe of a week ago or so.
Yeah, we're getting ready to talk about that last week there, but yeah, with that,
Well, let me just give a word of thanks to our banner sponsors, and they include Adams County Community Foundation, Adams County Sports Hall of Fame, that's the Adams County chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, Destination Gettysburg, Classic Antiques Innovations, or Classic Antique Singular Innovations, and Claire Lawson, or Lohman, rather, Realtor. So thank you one and all. They get their credits up at the end of the show. Live shout out from people like us. And, who could ask for more? A chance for creative input to the whole process. So
I think I heard the phone ring. Was that a false alarm there, Jordan, or was that a phone that's ready to?
patient caller,
False alarm.
false alarm, wrong number.
Keeps us on our toes.
I told
there.
you never to call me here.
Yeah. Going back to the baseball avenue there, what was some of the snubs that you saw with not making the
Well, I got you.
Summer Classic?
I mean, you're a Philly fan. You could say Ranger Suarez. You could say we already talked Trey Turner. Bryce Harper doesn't deserve it. He's still trying to. He's really struggled since he came back from his elbow, whatever injury. So, Turner I think was the big snub. Who do you think of it, Oriole-wise?
Yeah, I think one for each league. I would
Who
go
got
with,
in from the Orioles?
the Oriole one was Ryan O'Hearn. He
yeah,
won
DH.
the voting. He's actually starting as the DH there. So for the National League, the
But
one
only
that,
1-0.
just 1-0
Yeah.
in the game there. But for the National League, I will say the Cubs outfielder / DH. Seiya Suzuki, he leads the league in RBIs with 75 RBIs,
No All-Star.
24 home runs, and no All-Star. So I was kind of surprised with that there.
He played multiple positions?
Mostly outfield and DH there, and then when you have Ohtani as the DH,
Yeah.
and so you don't have a lot of pieces there. For the American League, I went with starting pitcher Joe Ryan. He's 8-4 with a 104 and 1/3 innings, 2.74 ERA.
What team?
For the Twins. He's been pitching well of late there, so I was kind of surprised with Joe Ryan. Some of the Oriole fans were, surprised that Jackson Holiday didn't make it, but, typically when you're a last place team, you don't get, two.
You don't get the love.
Yeah, so even though the A's got 2 All-Stars, typically you don't get more than one. So, some people thought, maybe Felix Bautista get into the All-Star game, but I kind of figured it's just going to be one and done. So I don't think this is a false alarm, though. I think we got a caller.
All right, let's go to the phone line. Welcome to Sports Chat. Hello.
Mr. Cool.
Now, who could that be? Any ideas, guys in the booth?
I'm gonna.
We have caller ID.
I'm gonna say Robert. I think it's Robert with that.
No, you speak his language.
That tone there.
Okay, is this little Bobby? Are you getting ready to go back? I mean, it's too early. People are talking about going back to school already.
Unless
It's
it's
too
summer
early.
school there,
I know, it's still just early July. Just don't be in a hurry. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Enjoy July. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what's on your mind, little fella?
Whoa, there goes
Well, your
little
voice
Bobby.
just
Whoa.
changed.
Just like that, it's
Man,
Robert
I
and
can hear
little
ya.
Bobby's going.
yeah. So what's on your mind, stranger?
I want to come say a couple things to you. We just got finished doing Speed Week.
We just got through Speed Weeks, I think.
Speed Week. Okay, I thought you said Sea Week. Okay, Carrots, Coliseum. Okay, go ahead. Speed Week. Is that at Williams Grove?
Williams Grove, Lincoln, Port Royal.
The circuit. I talked about Danny Dietrich. Where did he win 20 grand? Was that Port Royal?
Yes, it was.
Oh, cool. Oh, that,
I want to share some points with you about that, though.
okay.
So the grand total is, I'm going to start from the bottom to the top, from 5 to 1. The winner who won for the Speed Week.
We're
Okay, this is at Williams Grove, Speed Week.
Yeah, that's
Any of the usual suspects?
so.
All right, where do you want to start?
Let's go with number 5.
Okay.
Number 5 is Ross. Don't have to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call him Ross. Who's 4?
Number 4 is Ryan Smith.
A lot of Brian Smiths around. Okay, go ahead. 3,
Number 3 is Chase Beats.
Chase Dietz. Heard that name before. 2,
Very young Danny Dietrich.
Danny Dietrich. What a week he had, man. Winning Port Royal, and he's cleaning up. And da-da-da-da-da-da. Who won? Who was the top speed?
Who's number
speed
1?
merchant.
Our very young Anthony Macri of Dillsburg.
Anthony Mack, Pickletown's own. Making him proud. Anthony Macri. Good job. Nice reporting. What else you got?
There is no report for this coming week for you.
All right. No racing for next.
We have spring break.
You mean summer break?
Spring break in July. Is that so you can celebrate Christmas in July?
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll miss you, but we'll be here. I'll be away a couple weeks in August, so no one's irreplaceable. The show must go on.
Duct tape the show, and
Yeah,
we'll get through.
exactly.
That's
Yes, indeed.
what's on your mind there, Robert?
I got a lot of things in my mind. Let's
Oh,
go to
okay.
the NFL. Let's go there.
NFL. All right.
Not for long.
Well, let's do ET while we got you on the line. And
Yeah,
then we'll go
so-
NFL.
So when we started the show, and you heard the little bump there, it was not a big bump, with the ET from last week to this week. Last week it was 92. This week it's 95. So only 3 ejections. Now, I was looking at notes from last year when we did the show on July 9th. The ejections was 108. Yeah, so
And the manager on the Mets, he got thrown out on the last batter of the game, I think.
yeah,
But it still counts,
yeah,
right?
it still counts. The first pitch to the
Gets
last
tossed.
pitch, and so we're down a little bit there. So
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
just depends on how many you predicted. So
Yeah, I mean,
But,
like a hockey fight. Is that a good, when hockey fighting goes down, is that good or bad?
I'd say it, just depends on how people view it. But I guess it's
Well,
good there. I mean, that it's not as many fights out there, but
Where would you get higher ratings, with or without fighting?
probably with the fighting.
Yeah, so, but it's certain, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask you a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
It's gonna put you on the spot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, number 1 is, what do you think my name's going to be today?
Well, give us a clue there. I mean, it could be
Headbanger. Wow, wow, wow.
It's going to be something about related with a house.
The house?
It has to be related to a house. It could be like.
The house,
mansion.
It
Mansion.
could be like a house key,
Oh.
like
house door,
antenna,
antenna TV.
Shingles.
Circular fan.
Shingles. I'm gonna go with shingles.
I got a shingles vaccine. Well, okay. Well, I can hardly wait to see what.
Yeah.
We can't predict what you're going to do. That's what makes it so much fun, right?
And that's the name from last week.
I forgot what it
Refresh
was.
my recollection.
Yeah.
I forget what the name was from last week. I forget that.
You were counting on us to have written it down, maybe, huh? We're not. I take better notes for sports chat than trivia. So, well, I hope you play and have a good time. This could be your week. You never know. Top 10, well within range.
So what was at the top at the very beginning?
Yeah, I know you were. I know you were. It was awesome, man. And your mom, your mom did well too. So yeah. Well, we really appreciate all our players. And they are among the smartest individuals in the entire universe. Who will prevail tonight? Tune in at 7 and find out. You're going to be a panelist, right?
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Robert.
I'm going to say this. The Denver Broncos will go 10-6 this year.
What happened to the other game? You mean, are they going to have a tie? 10-6?
Okay, they have 17 games now.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
be nice.
Yeah. Well, I was just kind of waiting.
be
Yeah,
snide.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
11 and
10
6.
okay,
11 and 6. There, yeah.
Well, they got in. Weren't they one of the last teams to qualify for the playoffs last year?
Yeah, they played the Bills.
So, I mean, Bo Nix, he's a pretty shrewd pick. He's turning out like he's really going to be the genuine article.
I think so too.
So, anyway, it kind of reminds you of Herbert, how he just plays out west and is really good. Maybe you didn't know much about him. But, yeah, so we like your QB. I can't tell you a lot about the rest of the team, but where's
Eagles. Who's the quarterback for Eagles?
Jalen Hurts? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he's pretty secure. And Kenny Pickett, they let him go. They have this kid that he looked real good the last couple games when they didn't want to get Hurts injured. I didn't want to say Hurts hurt. Yeah.
Don't jinx yourself, though, about that.
Do you think the Eagles have a chance of repeating? I wonder what the line is out of Vegas.
It's always tough to repeat there. I can,
Of
let me
course it
see
is,
here.
of
I
course
can-
it is.
let
But I
me-
mean, they're set up for success, no doubt about
I
it.
can get their odds in just a sec here. Football. To repeat, their chances is 6-1. 6-1 odds. Best odds out there, so that's
They're
what
the favorite, you could say. Based on that, I mean, they're
Yeah.
the favorite. They have the best odds.
What's up there, Robert?
So week number 1, we have the Titans. The Denver Broncos have the Titans.
Okay. I would chalk that up to a win for the
Broncos.
Broncos. I was kind of-
Yeah, what's the Titans quarterback situation? They still have Will Levis?
Will Levis, but they drafted a quarterback out
Yeah,
there,
right.
number 1 there. So
What was the guy's name? Slough or something like that?
no,
Kid out of
that was
Louisville?
that was the Saints quarterback there. So let me pull this up here. I mean, with the Broncos being at home for that week there, that'll be interesting. With going up against a rookie quarterback, with Tennessee, they got Cam Ward, at number 1,
Oh, there
and
you
then
go.
Will
Yeah,
Levis is
Cam
number
Ward.
2.
I mean, he could be really good. Or he could be another Anthony Richardson.
He could be Anthony Richardson, or he could be the Daniel type of quarterback that was that we saw last year with the Commanders. So
Yeah.
so there's all
How he's
sorts
been
of
in the
routes
weight
there.
room and, that guy, he scares you if you're an Eagles fan. Daniels, he's scary.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
Elusive.
yeah.
So what's the chance of the, who's going to be like, in the NFL or the,
Who? Corey likes the Bears, right?
Yeah, the Bears. I wasn't sure where he was
The
going with that
Bears.
there. Yeah, it's always been a they've been hibernating, like October they've been hibernating, and it's just
Hey,
been.
But, I mean, your quarterback, he could get it. I mean, he could start clicking, right? I mean,
They got the pieces
Caleb
around
Williams.
him. Caleb Williams. They drafted a tight end out there, from
Kmet.
Michigan there. So they got Kmet. So see, if DeAndre Swift, of him with his Eagles days there. If his
Detroit before that.
his mileage is starting to get up there. Getting an older running back, but see what happens there. But they
he's a
have some of the
hybrid.
pieces around with Williams to strive. They got Ben Johnson from the Lions, their OC. So I'm cautiously
coach?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic that they can contend for a wild card spot. That's what I'm.
They're in a
hoping
tough division, though. That's the problem. Everybody had won at least 10 games except them last
for. Yeah,
year.
they're not playing like in the NFC South there with
No. Green Bay, Vikings, Detroit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
hey, Corey,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a hard question. So what's the odds of Penn State getting to a bowl this year?
A bowl?
A bowl game.
I'll bet. I'll take big odds on that.
I would say it's probably like
Small
minus 50,000.
yeah,
It's
there's
pretty
almost
likely.
no way they won't go to a bowl.
Yeah, all you have to do is win 6 games. and you're
Maybe
going to
the
a bowl.
Nabisco Graham Cracker Bowl. Yeah.
The Pop-Tart.
They always
Bowl
go to
or-
a bowl, even
Yeah.
if it's the Alamo or whatever.
Now, are you talking about like a college football playoff bowl game, or are you just talking about
A bowl.
bowl game? Yeah.
A bowl game.
Yeah, well, I think they're I'd bet money on that.
Yeah,
Now, are they going to be a top 4 team? They made the national semifinals last year.
with
lost to
expanded
Notre Dame.
playoffs being 12, this is the second
Yeah,
year of
and they're
that
going to
there.
change the seating around, but I mean, they've got almost everybody back on the offensive line, and I got a ton of guys back on defense, starting quarterback, those 2 running backs, the receiver core. Still, there always seems to be questions about the receiving core.
They don't have their tight end from last year that was,
Tyler Warren, Goodall.
a Swiss Army knife of many traits there.
Now he's a Colt.
He is a Colt there, yeah. So you go from a Lion to a Colt. I don't know what that means, but, you know, he just goes from a different
Instead
animal.
of a roar, he gives it a whinny. Talk about a roar.
That was,
Robert the Lionhearted.
So I'm gonna say, they can only have, 6 winning games this year.
Who?
Oh, Penn State.
Penn State's only gonna win 6 games?
that'll still be a bowl game, though.
Oh, they'd be bowl eligible.
Yeah.
You better believe they'd go. They have loyal alumni.
I
They like
think-
to party.
I think if Carl heard that, I think he might have just fell off his chair.
Yeah.
If he heard that, you know,
Yeah,
Penn State will win
he will
6
not be
games.
happy.
Wow.
But
he might
maybe
be-
he'll treat you as a perfect reverse barometer.
Yeah, I think he
Kind of like
might.
the mule skinner in Little Big Man.
I think he might be trying to call in there, Robert. You know, to give his.
He's out there. I want him to call in.
Well, he might be giving you the wrath there for, you know, saying those words.
We're right. I wrote
Yeah.
this down. You can't escape it. You got to own it. PSU will win
Just 6
6
games. Just 6.
games. Period.
Okay, I mean, looking at their schedule, they got Nevada. That's a win.
Win.
FIU,
Who?
uh,
Franklin Institute.
Florida International
okay.
University. That's a win.
Yeah, should be.
Villanova. We're not talking about basketball.
Nah, yeah, they're the playoff division. They're like 1AA,
Yeah, so there's 3 wins right there. So,
and that's all at home.
yes.
Typically, they're money games.
And then their 4th game, Oregon, at
home.
I'll probably take Oregon in that game, but that is a night game.
With the hope that.
Okay, well,
Okay, Robert, we'll catch up with you during trivia.
but, you know, to put a bow on that, I don't see Penn State winning just 6 games.
Nah.
Just by their schedule and
Just-
such
yeah.
there, yeah.
That sounds like
that
4-0 right there. and
Yeah.
They're gonna have some teams in the Big Ten they can handle, so, yeah, that would
was
take a
just-
total
yeah.
collapse. You'd have a lot of, Penn State fans on edge if they only won 6 games.
Yes, I think some people will be jumping off the
You
cliff.
like to-
We're not embracing jumping off the cliff. I just want to
Tony
state that there.
Sacca,
Yeah.
Sacco years, or Sacca, I don't know.
Well, I guess the
Tough
other
times.
thing we can transition to is the Nats. You know, the Nationals fired their GM and manager over the weekend,
Yes, they
and
did. Davey Martinez delivered a world title in 2019.
and since then,
Yeah.
from 2020 to now, the Nationals are 325 and 473. Just
What's his
abysmal.
name? Mike something?
Mike Rizzo
Mike Rizzo, okay.
and Davey Johnson both got the heave ho.
Davey Martinez.
Davey Martinez. What's crazy about this is the timing. The timing with all this is we got the MLB draft coming up, and of the 4 major sports, usually baseball is the one where you're not, you know, that excited, but still, nonetheless, you have the number 1 draft pick, and you.
So who steps in? Yeah, I mean,
So I mean, they got other people in the war room that's going to be,
right.
you know, discussing
Assistant,
about this. But to have the first pick when you don't have your GM, and you know, Rizzo was really big with the scouting department. But over the last 10 years, they really haven't got anybody from the draft to kind of build within. You know, we talked about the Soto trade, you know, to start the show.
Sure.
And you know, that was homegrown talent from San Diego coming to the Nats. So they really haven't been able to develop their.
Who'd the Padres get for Soto when they traded him to the Yankees?
They got what? Let me look into that.
So the Nats definitely, I mean, it's one of those deals where the guy wants to get moved, you gotta move him, but they held out and got some really quality pieces in return. I'm just curious what the Yankees,
The big
Had to
pickups
cough
there
up.
was Michael King,
Pitcher.
the pitcher, the catcher Kyle Higashi, Johnny Brito. So there was not too
Johnny
many.
Burrito?
Brito.
Oh, Brito,
yeah.
okay.
So the big piece for that was Michael King.
Better than nothing, I guess, but yeah.
I mean, I think the
That
Nats
doesn't seem like equal value
at that
for
time
Juan
frame
Soto.
there.
So, yeah, I mean, if you look at it that way, that's what they got. They give Soto, they trade, they get Soto, they give up a lot to get him, and then
You don't
they
get a
give
lot
him
in-
up. And so wouldn't they rather have James Wood and C.J. Abrams and all those other
Absolutely.
guys,
Yeah,
and Michael
absolutely.
King and
Yeah, at that time frame, they were going all in. When they were able to acquire, Juan Soto, because he had all that year control, and then once
Yeah.
the wheels were coming off, then they trade him, after the 2022 or after the 2023 season, and then they got traded in December 6th there. So
is he an all-star snub?
well, the thing is,
He's starting to pick it up. He had a slow
he
start.
got picked it up at the towards the end.
Yeah.
When all this was already done. That's the same you could say with George Springer. We talked about him last week.
Yeah, we thought he was long in the tooth, and then he goes in, a 7 RBI game or something?
Had 13 RBIs in 1 week there, so
Yeah.
it's a little too late there. A dollar short,
Yeah.
a day late,
Yeah,
a dollar short. With getting into the
But
All-Star
like
game.
we talked about earlier, people don't play for whatever reason, you can still make the game.
You got pitchers that pitch on Sunday that will be deemed ineligible. You got hitters, nagging with injuries that just want the time off. That's not on the IL, that just wants to recover. So you're going to see not abundance, but you're going to see a good amount of players added onto the roster, throughout the week and then the weekend
Well,
itself.
especially
there, so.
pitchers. Nobody goes more than 1 inning now.
No.
There was a time when they would go 3. The starting pitcher would go 3 innings. Now, they weren't going to have somebody throw 100 pitches and impact their
About 50
season.
or something, yeah.
Yeah, but now it's just 1 inning, do they have to face at least 3 batters, or does that rule waive for the All-Star game?
They waive it.
I mean, they should, just to get more people in, and,
Sometimes you have, sometimes a manager will tell that manager that's, managing the All-Star game, hey, only pitch my guy in case you need to,
yeah. Now, there's a good example of adapting to a new rule. Remember when that rule first came out about having to face at least 3 batters?
Three
It
batters,
was
yep.
only 2 or 3 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking, oh, man, that's, and so much for the guy, the lefty that comes in to face 1 batter. I guess you can still do that at the end of an inning. But the teams have adapted. It doesn't seem like it's really impacted the game all that much.
Yeah, just kind of go with the flow there. But
And I think
yeah,
it's better because you don't have, like, you face 1 batter and
Oh,
new
let me
call
get
to the
the- give me the
bullpen.
righty,
Well, it gets old when people were warming up ad nauseum.
But yeah, you can still have that, 1 batter lefty specialist. But you better get that batter out because you got 2 more batters until you have to pull them. Because
Yeah.
I already saw a couple times when a batter comes in, gives up a base hit,
Like
home run, and
Yeah.
you're kind
Gives
of
up
3 runs.
home
here.
run to the lefty, and then the left-handed pitcher has to face 2 right-handed hitters.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting. We're almost out of time.
Right on the nose.
Yeah, fascinating conversation. Golf, anything we need to cover? Tennis, Wimbledon's underway. A lot of top seeds knocked out
Coco got bounced there, so
early. Yeah.
in
So
the first round, I believe it was. So
Novacek, is he out?
I think he was playing this morning, but I didn't really
He was-
decide.
yeah, I didn't see. I saw him playing the other day, but anyway, we'll get caught up in Wimbledon.
Talk about the Derby next week because the Derby will be
Home Run
over.
Derby. Yeah,
The Derby will be.
we
on
can make our all-star
Monday.
picks. The AL just seems to have dominated for most of your lifetime. I don't know what the numbers
Yes.
are, but the National League, when I was growing up, they would kill it. I mean, they had Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Pete Rose, knocking people over to score in an all-star game. Future Hall of Famer Pete Rose. Well, that's a conversation for another day. We're out of time. Parting thoughts, shout-outs?
Just stay warm or stay cool out there. Not warm. Stay cool out there in this
Yeah.
middle of summer.
Pace yourselves.
Pace yourself.
I saw Brady Denburn had a triple. He
Whoa.
he might have needed the oxygen after that.
Yeah,
It's in today's paper, so way to go, Brady. Cashtown lost a couple games. What's going on?
whoa. Sound the alarms on
I
that
know,
one.
I know. All right, well, special thanks, Sean and Jordan, as always, doing a great job. Join us next Tuesday and every Tuesday here on Sports Chat. Good night, everybody. Mahalo. Stay tuned for trivia.